How I Learned to Speak Fast in English. It was a cold, rainy morning when I first realized I needed to change something about my life. I was sitting in a small cafe in my hometown, sipping a cup of hot tea, when I overheard a group of tourists speaking English. They were laughing, chatting, and ordering their food so quickly that I could barely understand what they were saying. I had been studying English for years, but at that moment I felt like I knew nothing. My heart sank. I wanted to speak like them, fast, confident, and natural. But how? That day, I decided to make a change. I was going to learn how to speak English fast, no matter how hard it was. This is the story of how I did it. My journey didn't start easy. I had always been shy about speaking English. In school, I was good at grammar and writing, but when it came to speaking, I froze. My words came out slow, and I often stumbled over simple sentences. I was afraid of making mistakes, so I avoided speaking as much as I could. But that day in the cafe, something inside me clicked. I realized that if I wanted to speak fast, I had to face my fears. I couldn't let my shyness hold me back anymore. I needed a plan. The first thing I did was start listening to fast English every day. I knew that if I wanted to speak fast, I had to get used to hearing fast English first. I downloaded podcasts, watched YouTube videos, and even listened to songs in English. At first it was overwhelming. The words flew by so quickly that I could only catch a few here and there. But I didn't give up. I started with short videos and slowed them down a little. As I got better, I increased the speed. I listened while I was cooking, walking, or even before going to bed. Slowly, my ears began to pick up more words, and I started to understand faster speech. Listening was just the beginning. I knew I had to practice speaking if I wanted to improve. But who could I practice with? I didn't have any friends who spoke English fluently. Then I had an idea. I would talk to myself. Every morning I stood in front of the mirror and practiced speaking. I started with simple sentences like, "My name is Maria. I live in a small town. I love learning English." At first it felt silly, but I kept going. I pretended I was having a conversation with someone. I asked myself questions and answered them. I even recorded myself and listened to see how I sounded. Over time, I noticed my sentences were getting longer and more natural. I wasn't pausing as much, and my words flowed better. It was a small victory, but it gave me hope. One of the biggest challenges I faced was thinking in my native language and then translating it into English. This made me speak slowly because I was always searching for the right words. I realized I needed to learn common phrases and expressions that native speakers use. I started writing down phrases I heard in movies or podcasts. Things like, "What's up?" "How's it going?" and "I'm just kidding." I practiced using them in my daily conversations, even if I was just talking to myself. Soon, these phrases became second nature, and I didn't have to think about them anymore. After a few months of practicing alone, I felt ready to take the next step, speaking with someone else. I joined an online language exchange group where I could talk to native English speakers. At first, I was nervous. What if I made mistakes? What if they didn't understand me? But to my surprise, everyone was kind and patient. They corrected me when I made mistakes and encouraged me to keep going. I started having short conversations, then longer ones. Each time I felt more confident. My speaking speed improved because I wasn't afraid of making mistakes anymore. I realized that mistakes were part of learning. The biggest breakthrough came when I started thinking in English. Instead of translating everything in my head, I tried to form my thoughts directly in English. This was hard at first, but I practiced by describing my day in English as I went about my routine. For example, while brushing my teeth, I would think, "I'm brushing my teeth. The water is cold. I need to buy more toothpaste." It felt strange at first, but over time it became natural. Thinking in English helped me speak faster because I wasn't wasting time translating. One day, about 6 months into my journey, I had a conversation that changed everything. I was at a local market and a tourist asked me for directions. Without thinking, I answered in English. The words came out fast and clear. The tourist understood me perfectly and even complimented my English. I was stunned. For the first time, I had spoken English quickly and confidently without even trying. It was a moment of pure joy and pride. All my hard work had paid off. After that day, I didn't stop. I kept practicing every day, pushing myself to speak faster and more fluently. I joined more language groups, watched more videos, and even started reading books in English. I challenged myself to learn new words and phrases every week. I also learned to relax and have fun with the language. I stopped worrying so much about making mistakes and focused on enjoying the process. I realized that speaking fast wasn't just about speed, it was about confidence and connection. A year after I started my journey, I decided to test myself. I signed up for an English-speaking competition in my city. The thought of speaking in front of a crowd was terrifying, but I knew it was the perfect way to see how far I had come. The day of the competition, my heart was pounding. When it was my turn, I took a deep breath and started speaking. The words flowed out of me like a river. I spoke fast, but I also spoke clearly and confidently. When I finished, the audience clapped, and I felt a surge of pride. I didn't win the competition, but I didn't care. For me, just standing there and speaking fast English was a victory. It was proof that with hard work and determination, anything is possible. Looking back, I realized that learning to speak fast in English wasn't just about the language. It was about overcoming my fears, pushing myself out of my comfort zone, and never giving up. It taught me that progress takes time, but every small step counts. If you're struggling to speak fast in English, here's my advice. Start small. Listen to fast English every day. Practice speaking, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. Find someone to talk to, even if it's just yourself. Most importantly, believe in yourself. You can do it. Now, whenever I hear someone speaking fast English, I don't feel intimidated anymore. Instead, I feel inspired. I know that with enough practice and determination, anyone can learn to speak fast in English just like I did. And if I can do it, so can you.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next one. See you soon.